Okay. So Ray, how'd you get to playing country music? How'd you start playing country music?
Well, golly, that goes way back, back in the old Crawford, Texas days, believe it or not. That's where I was born and raised, around Crawford. That's out of Waco, about 30 miles west. And when I got out of the Army I went to the Korea business. So when I got out of the Army, they made me commander of the little Legion post in that little town called McGregor. And it was wasn't any, nobody would participate in the American Legion. So I got a little band together in that little old town, and we formed a little old band, and we started playing music on Friday nights at the Legion. And we just made it open to the public, and believe it or not, there was nothing to do in a little old town called McGregor, or Crawford. It's about 20 miles west of Waco. So I'd go to Waco because there wasn't no beer there, so I'd bootleg beer to the Legion Hall. And I've never in my life, as of this day, drank one beer. And that's kind of strange, I'm a German. So they say, hey, you're a disgrace to the German race. Well, I don't know, I was raised a Christian. And my daddy says, Christians don't drink. And he beat that in my mind, and it worked. And as of this day, I've yet my first beer to drink. And even going through the Army and all that stuff, I never drank. I just didn't need to drink to have fun. But anyway, we formed a little old band and played for the Legion. And golly, I'd bootleg beer over and sell it. And I mean, of course, the city police and everybody else would come and buy my bootleg beer because they knew it was all going to the Legion. And you'd be surprised, they had to check money out of the Legion after a few months. That's the kind of money we was making for the Legion. But it went over so big, the music end of it, and I was a professional home builder, and I designed big custom homes when I was 22 years old. In fact, some of the big houses around that country, some of the biggest homes in that Waco area, I designed and built when I was 22 years old. And at that time, I had my own lumber business called Hennig Lumber. Ray Hennig Lumber, not music. So I was a home builder and built custom homes and designed them. And time I was 30 years old, I'd build them, live in them 6 months, sell them, build another one, live in it 6 months. That's long-term capital gain at that time. And God, I had enough money in a few years to have the biggest home in that country paid for. So I said, this building homes is not that easy. In fact, it's hard because I didn't sit in a truck. I led the guys. I had a crew, and I led them, not watched them. And that's how I made my money. Time I was 30 years old, I done had enough money made to retire. Just by building big homes, selling them, building another one, selling it. And it worked pretty good. So then I said, while I still got my health and in one piece, I'm going to sell this. So I sold my business to my brother, which was in half partners with me. And I went into the music business. At that time, they started coming in from Austin, because me and Clifford Antone and Charlie Hatchett, we three are the ones started the music scene in Austin. And you can check with anybody, that's a fact. Me, Clifford Antone, Charlie Hatchett. He was a booking agent. Everybody knows who Clifford Antone was. So they'd come to me from out of town. I'd loan them a guitar because they didn't have one. Where can I go play? I'd call Charlie Hatchett. He would line them up, and Clifford Antone would give them a job at Antone's. And that's how we stopped musicians from leaving town. That's how it worked. I'd loan them guitars, Charlie get them a job, Clifford Antone give them a job. And we started the music capital of the world just that way. So it's been a beautiful business. I'm glad I went out of the lumber business. You know, a pretty thing I like to say is you've never seen anybody fighting and singing at the same time. So that tells you music is beautiful.
You're certainly right there. And just to rehash some of that, what were some of the artists that you worked with that helped grow Austin's music scene?
You pretty well name an artist. Billy Gibbons, ZZ Top, spent a day with me a few months ago. He's in town, and he's been a friend of mine since the 60s. Billy Gibbons, ZZ Top. And we've been real close friends. Chris Gifford with that. Now we're talking about Christopher Cross. He's a real good buddy of mine that has been dealing with me for all these years. And Jimmy Vaughn, of course, everybody knows Jimmy Vaughn. He's been a very close friend of mine. And Eric Johnson, of course, everybody knows these are superstars and Austin people. And these are people that I they credited me for their success because when they didn't have any money, any guitars, I would loan them guitars and amplifiers back in those years. We're talking way back there. Wow. And so they got together and showed me appreciation dinner, those four, here a few months ago, because they credited me for their success story. But like I say, I'm a Christian. It's more blessed to give than receive. And it's just worked for me.
Certainly has. And just to give the listeners a little background, how long have you been in business here, Ray, with Heart of Texas Music?
Well, I opened the business in 1960. And I operated in the Waco area, Waco and Temple. 2 stores, one in Waco, one in Temple. And I operated there till 1974, at which time Austin musicians was coming to Waco to buy these big old Marshall stacks from me. You don't know what that is, but Marshall's a big amplifier. And it was $1,500 back in the 60s, and I was selling them for $900. And everybody wanted a big double stack Marshall. So they'd drive to the Waco store, buy big Marshall from me, and then get a speed ticket coming back. So they'd bring a speed ticket or get a ticket coming to me. So I'd pay their speed ticket. And weekend, I'd have a whole handful of speed tickets. I said, you know, this old dog don't hunt. So Charlie Hatchett and Clifford Allen, these guys got together and said, hey, Ray, you need to open up a store in Austin, get over there where the people are, and stop that. And they talked me into it. So in '74, I did just that. I opened a place here in Austin, and which was a very, very smart move that I did, because it's, you know, it's been a beautiful business. You nearly have to, music is another world. Like I say, a good musician says, you know, you can take my wife, you can take my car, you can take my clothes, leave my guitar alone. So they treasure their guitars, and I recognize that fact. So it's, like I say, it's been a beautiful business, music. I picked the right business because people don't fight and sing at the same time.
And business has been good over the years, I assume.
Well, of course, I don't just deal in Austin. I deal all over the country. In fact, I even ship stuff overseas. They call me from overseas, especially these SRV Stevie Ray Vaughan guitars, because they know I'm the one instigated that guitar. I'm the one put it together for Stevie. So I know the whole story from beginning to end on that guitar. And I'm the only one in the world does, because I'm the one did it. And so I get a lot of calls from people wanting that guitar because they know I know how it's supposed to be.
Interesting.
The old SRV. It's been like I say, the bottom line behind a successful man is a successful wife, and don't kid yourself. That's my big success story. I have had a wonderful wife that has backed me all the way, no competition, just whatever you think. And I mean, she was right there backing me. So I give her 60% credit of my success story, because behind a successful man, there's a successful woman, and don't kid yourself. She's a sweetheart. And as you saw her up here, to look at me, you can tell real quick I was one heck of a salesman, because I'm uglier than homemade soap. That's no saying out on the farm, uglier than homemade soap. And she's beautiful. Well, I'm a good salesman. I
Sure
saw
are.
it on me, and that proves it.
Well, you're an interesting guy, so I see the appeal with the ladies. But I guess, so what's going on now? I know that you're moving some of the stuff out because of the increase in the rent you were telling me earlier. I was wondering if you could just real briefly, not to talk too much about it, but just tell me about kind of what's going on with this location.
Well, right now, this whole shopping center is getting closed down because it's being sold to replace all the businesses with condominiums. So everybody here in the business, I think everybody but the show and maybe Highball is already been notified. We're all closing out. We're out of here. And other than all but the two. And but they've already given our notice. We've got, I don't know, so many more weeks to get out. So that's what we're doing now is moving, and now's a good time for people to buy, because I'm selling stuff at wholesale, so I don't have to move it, and it's working. It's not a gimmick, because it's the truth. We're really selling this stuff out of here, so we don't have to move it.
Yes, sir. I found something in here I like too, so we'll make a purchase. So have you talked to any of the other property owners in this, or I'm sorry, the other tenants in this shopping center about it at all, or had any communication with them, or is it kind of each person struggling on their own?
Yeah, they are all just like I am. Some of them has already moved out, and of course, it's sort of an upsetting thing. We won't get into that.
Yes, sir.
But some of them's moved out, and it hadn't been cool. You know, you say you got to get out, so you got all this merchandise you need to start getting rid of or move, and that's a nightmare.
It's a hassle.
And some of the businesses is highly upset at what all went down. They tell you one thing, and for some reason something don't get signed at the right time or place, or something comes up and whoop, it's all over. So it's kind of been somewhat of a disgusting situation, but you know, I can handle it.
Yeah. It seems like it's going to be a bad deal, not only for you as a store owner and everyone else that's a store owner here in the shopping center, but it's going to be bad for Austin.
Well, yeah, I don't know, I guess hide and watch.
Yes, sir. Well, I know you are talking about opening up another location, possibly in Austin in the future, and that's an encouraging thing. So I'm really happy to hear that. But just wanted to thank you for what you do, and wanted to ask if you wanted to share anything else or tell us
Well,
anything
as soon
else.
as we can find a location on South Lamar, we nearly, it's nearly a must that we stay on South Lamar because it's known all over the country. They know where South Lamar is, and a musician don't want to spend all week or all day trying to find a weird address. So everybody knows where South Lamar is. So that's a big reason why we want to stay on South Lamar possible, and that's our intent. So right now, it looks like we'll be going to Temple. No, we're not closing down. That's a lot of people says, "Are you closed down?" Not after 50 years. Who's going to take care of my old musician friends? Because I'm the only one really knows who they are and how they operate and how they think. So we're not closing down. We just will be in Temple operation, my big store in Temple, and until we can get a location here that's suitable. And we got people checking constantly trying to find us another location.
Great. All right, well, thank you so much, Ray, for spending this time with me this afternoon, and just wanted to ask if you had anything else you'd like to share with the audience.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.